Tuesday was one of the longest days in Silvio Berlusconi's 17 years in power. He went into it locked in a struggle with rebels in his own party who he tried to force to vote for a vital state finance bill, but when the vote came they ignored his threats and promises of rewards and abstained. The opposition also failed to vote, leaving Berlusconi with a 308 vote to none victory, but 8 votes short of an absolute majority. He'll resign once the financial laws are adopted. If you still have any sense of responsibility faced with the Italian people, resign right now. We'll do our job for the country. Berlusconi said tonight he would resign once the austerity measures Italy needs to make to satisfy the EU have been passed in Parliament, and he will submit the financial package to a vote of confidence by mid-November. A photographer snapped his debate notes. They read 8 traitors, followed by the word resign and then the cryptic one solution. It is an ignominious end to a political era that's seen Italy dazzled and repulsed in equal measure by Berlusconi's larger-than-life personality. At 75, there's surely no way back for him now, and judges up and down the land may be relishing the chance to blast and nail him on one of the many corruption cases he has to face, but has avoided while in office.
Silvio Berlusconi found himself in a place with nowhere to turn. Under pressure in the Italian parliament and with Eurozone leaders calling for reform, the beleaguered premier explained his reasons for going in a phone interview on one of his own television channels. The government does not have the majority we thought we had, and so we have to take account of this situation realistically and look after the Italian position. Everything else, including who leads the government, is secondary at the moment. Working for the good of Italy is the important thing. Shortly afterwards, ordinary Italians began to react to the news that the Berlusconi era would soon be coming to a close.
Speriamo che siano cose nuove.
Let's hope for new things, otherwise we'll be back at square one. Whoever steps in, we've already arrived at the point of no return. The issue doesn't lie with the Premier's resignation, it's the national crisis. We've just woken up from a nightmare and we've found ourselves right behind Greece. A crowd of journalists camped outside Berlusconi's residence in Rome in the hope of getting a glimpse of the defeated leader. For others living in the capital, the news was more of an opportunity to celebrate.
It's another long night in Athens. Divisions amongst Greek politicians are delaying the creation of a unity coalition despite pressure from the public and the EU for a quick deal to stave off bankruptcy. All sources seem to agree the new Prime Minister will be the former deputy head of the European Central Bank, Lucas Papademos. But the Conservatives are split on an EU demand for written assurances the new coalition will push through Greece's €130 billion bailout package. In short, there's been precious little progress since Sunday night when Socialist George Papandreou agreed to step down as Prime Minister, a Conservative stipulation to them joining a unity government. Talks are set to resume later this morning. The US says it will push for more sanctions against Iran after a report from the UN's nuclear watchdog said Tehran had worked on developing nuclear weapons and was possibly still doing so. The International Atomic Energy Agency says it has serious concerns regarding possible military dimensions to Iran's nuclear program. Russia has expressed disappointment over the document, which it says will add to tension over the issue. Even before it was released, Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said, "The IAEA is just publishing reports provided by American officials. I'm sorry, the head of the IAEA, Yukiya Amano, is violating the agency's regulations and is a puppet of America. Why doesn't Mr. Amano publish reports on the arsenals of America and its allies?" From Israeli opposition leader Tzipi Livni, the report confirms their suspicions.
After the report, the facts are clear. Iran tries to achieve a nuclear weapon. It's not an Israeli problem, it's the problem of the entire world. And the free world must unite in order to stop nuclear Iran, and time for action is now.
The report follows a week of heightened speculation that the US, the UK and Israel would be prepared to use military force against Iran.
The US Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain has strongly denied fresh sexual harassment allegations against him and vowed to stay in the race. The former pizzeria executive, who's leading in many polls, claims he's never even met his latest accuser.
Of course I would be willing to do a lie detector test. Secondly, I believe that the character and integrity of a candidate running for president should come under a microscope with facts, not accusations.
Cain's response comes after Sharon Bialek became the first of 4 women to go public with allegations that Cain made an unwanted sexual advance in 1997 when he was head of the National Restaurant Association. She's now been joined by US Treasury Department spokeswoman Karen Kraushaar, who accused Cain last week. It's thought all of Cain's accusers may now hold a joint press conference to lay out their cases.
On the timing of the decision, INF will...
Violence has broken out in Nicaragua in protest over disputed presidential election results. Hundreds of people took to the streets of the capital Managua in support of the defeated conservative candidate Fabio Gadea, who claims widespread vote rigging took place on Sunday. Police fired tear gas to quell the demonstration. No one was reportedly injured, but local media claimed dozens of young people were beaten. Daniel Ortega, a socialist former guerrilla leader, cruised to a landslide re-election victory in Sunday's contest. He polled 62% of the vote, more than double the tally for his closest rival, Gadea.
The UN is being petitioned for compensation after being blamed for an outbreak of cholera in the wake of the 2010 Haitian earthquake. The human rights group argues that infected UN peacekeeping troops from Nepal, where cholera is endemic, were the source of the disease after dumping waste from their base camp into the local river. The future of a Russian interplanetary probe is in doubt after developing problems soon after launch. The mission, set for a Martian moon, managed to make a stable Earth orbit, but then failed to break away to begin its journey to the Red Planet. Engineers have 3 days to make repairs. Planet Earth has had a close encounter with a passing asteroid. The rock-like object, the size of an aircraft carrier, zoomed past between the Earth and the Moon, but posed no threat. Astronomers believe the so-called U-55 has been visiting Earth for thousands of years and originates from an asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter.
In sport, Thomas Burditch edges out Fernando Verdasco in the second round of the Paris Masters. Fifth seed Thomas Burditch produced a stunning performance to outclass Spain's Fernando Verdasco in straight sets in the second round of the Paris Masters on Tuesday. The 26-year-old, who needs one more win to reach the ATP World Tour Finals, dominated his opponent from the outset, eventually winning through 6-3, 7-5. Burditch will next face either Alex Bogomolov or Janko Tipsarevic for a place in the quarterfinals. In the other games, local favourite Joe Wilfried Tsonga also moved within touching distance of a place in the World Tour Finals after downing Spain's Guillermo Garcia Lopez 6-3, 6-4. Elsewhere, Andy Roddick defeated Julien Benneteau while Richard Gasquet beat Kevin Anderson 6-4, 7-6. With less than a year to go before the 2012 Olympic Games get underway in Britain, tour operators have warned that tourism to London may fall sharply during the event. European Tour Operators Association Chief Executive Tom Jenkins suggested this was typical of an Olympic year in any city.
We've just done a survey of our members who bring about 2 million people into London every year. And according to them, they're looking at a 60% decline in tourist numbers during July and August of next year, and a 95% decline during the Olympic Games themselves.
Offering a unique discount.
Meanwhile, British Culture Secretary Jeremy Hunt told journalists it was still too early to draw conclusions.
Tourism and Paralympic Games.
We've just had we're in the middle of a Eurozone crisis. I mean, this is a very difficult time for the European economy in particular, and I don't think it's particularly surprising to see those numbers at this stage. But remember that what we're talking about is a campaign that extends well beyond Europe.
According to the ETOA, such a sharp fall in visitors could cost the British economy up to €4 billion. The Olympic Games kick off on the 27th of July.
Admiral markets.